Hey, what's going on, guys? I just got my hands on the Vantrue N4 camera, and we're gonna do a comparison video of the Vantrue N2 Pro. Now, you're probably watching this video because you haven't decided which one to buy, or you probably have the Vantrue N2 or the N2 Pro, and you're probably going to decide if you're gonna upgrade to the N4. So you're gonna wanna know if it's worth it or not. Now, main differences about the Vantrue N4, first off, and the most important part, is that it comes with 3 cameras. So you got the main camera with the back module inside of it, and you got a separate camera for the third view. So now you can have the view from the outside, from the front the rear, and inside the cabin of the car, right? So it's way better in that aspect. Now, what is better in terms of camera quality, right? So the Vantrue N2 Pro comes with a 4 megapixel camera, and it's at f1.8 aperture, so 1.8 aperture, versus the N4 that comes with a 5 megapixel camera, and it has an aperture of 1.4. Now, for you guys who don't know what the aperture is, well, let's just say that the lower the aperture is, the more it's gonna capture light. So in low light or in a dark scene, it's gonna capture more of the footage with a lower aperture. So it's way better on the N4. Now, you might be thinking 1.4 versus 1.8 is not a whole lot. But once we convert it into a percentage, then you're gonna really know that it's a big difference. So the difference between these two is 25% difference in the aperture. Now, is that footage going to be better? Well, we're gonna find out when we actually test the footage in dark mode. Now, before we head on over to the footage, let's unbox this baby because I really like how it came. It's way whole different packaging from the N2 and Pro. I remember it's like a simple packaging for this one, and this one is like more modern type of like Apple boxing. So let's get it unboxed, check it out, and then we're gonna head on over to footage. So the reason I have both cameras right now is because we're gonna compare them one with the other to check them out in terms of sizing and what comes different. So let's get this baby unboxed and check this nice packaging that it comes with. It's way more nicer. You got the instructions, manuals right here. So you got information right here. You got all that. Next up, we have the power connection right here. Let's see if there's anything different from it. So it says Vantrue right here. Now, something that I like about this one is that it's Type-C connection. This one is micro USB. So I like this better. You can connect it any way that you want, and it's way more modern and more flexible because that's what the future is going on right now. Next thing we got is the suction mount. So we got the suction mount. We got this form of plug-in. Now, heads up, the type of connection, the suction cup, is different from the Vantrue N2. So you can't use one with the other. So maybe you have the GPS module for this one. Well, you have to buy the module for the N4 because it's not the same. Next thing we have right here. Let's get it open. We got another USB connection with Type-C, USB and Type-C. We have the main camera right here. So let's get this baby out. Now you're gonna see it looks way more bigger. Before I show you dimensions one with the other, let's just get it finish unboxing and then we'll compare it. Next up is the rear camera module. Now let's get rid of this one. This is the third camera. So you got a really long cable. Also Type-C right here, and the actual camera and the mount. So it's nice and slick. It's not big. It's small, so you can put this in the corner of your car. You can twist this around. Oh, so it's 360 degree. So you can actually point this inside if you want. So if you want to capture from back to front, or if you want to capture what's going on in the back, right? So you got that option. Now, in terms of one versus the other, first off, the screen, it's way more bigger. Let me put it this way. This is the N4, this is the N2 Pro, all right? So you got a way more bigger screen. You got the same button layout on the top, so you still have the M and emergency. You got back and forth. You got the power button, and you have the OK button here. And in this case, you got the OK on the back and the emergency button. So it's a different layout. In the front, we have the camera. Let me peel this off. Now in terms of the size of the camera, of how it looks in the front, it's not a big deal. It looks bigger here, but it doesn't mean it has like a bigger camera inside, even though it's a 5 megapixel and a 4 megapixel. On the top, you have some vents right here for cooling. What else do we have? In terms of sizing, it's about 1/4 of an inch bigger, so it's not that much bigger. It's thicker. You can also, let's see how much this turns. So you have that amount of turning for the inside camera. Let me peel this off. All right, you got that. You got the 4 IR for night vision. You got way more adjustment in the Vantrue N2 Pro. So those are advantages and disadvantages of these. So now let's get them mounted and check out how they look. Let's go on over to footage. Alright guys, so this is the footage from both cameras, the N4 and the N2 Pro. The sun is in front of us and on top, so we should be getting some glare, and we will be doing some audio tests. So I'll be switching from one to the other to do the audio test. Now I just want to say that the N4 is a little bit more bulky, but the screen quality is incredible compared to the other one, not just in size, but the actual pixel quality of it. So it's way more better. Plus you get more information on the N4. You get the amount of looping, you get the discharging, you get the microphone, but it's a little bit more clear than in the N2 Pro. Now I will be cleaning the glass because there's a little bit of rain going on right now. I will be also testing it not in direct sunlight, so you guys actually get the view of what it's going to look like. So one of the things I didn't mention is that the N2 Pro is updated to the latest firmware, so both cameras can receive a 256 gigabyte micro SD card. So both have the ability to use the same SD card. I want you guys to know that the look is a little bit more, how would you say, on the M4 I think it's a little bit more obvious that you can see the camera that's there than the other one. Plus you got a cable going through the side because it's connected to the rear camera, so that's something to be aware. But they look good. They look good. Both look good in the sense that they're dark, they're black, and they're grayish, so they don't look like they look out of place like some other cameras that I've seen, like really shiny gray or like white or other colors. Let me turn back so we're not hitting straight through the sun. I will be doing some zoom test with the camera plates, with the plates that we're capturing, so you guys can see how good one is with the other one. Remember, we have a better camera with the N4. Also, both cameras are set to the highest resolution what they're capable of. So on the N4 we have a 1440p on the front facing camera, and we have a 1080p on the front facing camera with the N2 Pro. The rear camera from the N4 is 1080p, also the N2 Pro. And plus we got the rear camera that's 1080p, and the N2 Pro, well, doesn't have a rear camera. Now price wise, I think there's not a whole lot of difference compared to the N2 Pro. I think if you are considering upgrading, I think it's a good idea. I mean, first of all, because you got an extra camera and you got better resolution quality. But this quality, obviously, I haven't seen the footage. We're gonna see it together, and I'm gonna be doing some side-by-side tests, some zoom, and some good things about it. Before we actually check the quality, we also want to check, obviously, the low light capabilities of this camera. So right now we're in full sunlight, everything's nice and clear, but how does it actually look at night? I mean, is it really pixelated? Can we see license plates and things like that? So now you got a feel of what it looks like in daylight. So you get an idea. I'll just do some more footage and then we go to night footage. All right, guys, I wanted to give you a little bit of low light situation scenery of how it's going to look in the video. You can see the night vision already kicked in on both cameras from the inside camera of the cabin. And I just want to talk a little bit about the daylight footage that I already checked out on the computer. And I must say that the N4 inside cabin footage is really, really great. It's amazing in my point of view because it has a wide dynamic range, because you can actually see outside the windows instead of being it blown out like you could see in the N2 Pro. Now, the only thing I didn't like about the inside footage is that there's a little blue hue on the edges that you can see in some scenes. So that's something I didn't like, but overall I think it's way better than the N2 Pro, and obviously the outside footage looks better also. I think the colors are way more accurate, and right now as I'm looking at the footage in the screens for this low light situation, the sky is not so bluish as it interprets the N2 Pro. So I think the N2 Pro is a little bit too blue. It's kind of it's not showing the right colors, and in the N4 it's a little bit more realistic. So just wanted to share with you guys before we head on over to the night footage. And I just want to say that if you guys want to grab these cameras, the link will be in the description. The link is an affiliate link. Obviously, it helps me buy these cameras to keep making videos for you guys. So just want to share those thoughts before we jump into the night footage. And we will be doing a overall of what I think at the end, what I like and I dislike about it. Alright guys, so I couldn't find you that really kind of low light freeway kind of look since there was a lot of traffic where I was going. So there's much less light here since it's not like a whole city street where there's a whole bunch of businesses. We're gonna go into this dark places. So you can see some more dark look right here. There's just like a couple of lights, but not that many, but you can get a feel of how it looks. I'm gonna try to find a street where there's actually like zero light or like so little light. I don't know how it would say it, but to get a sense of how it would look when it's almost like pitch dark, right? And I'm gonna turn off the lights on my car, see how that looks. So I'm gonna go into some street right here. Alright, this is a street where it's kind of dark. I'll try to find another one. Actually, alright, so this one's a bit dark right here. I'm gonna turn off the lights on my car, just so you get a sense of how it looks, and just the only lights that you would get from the street. Let me go a little bit further where it could be a little bit darker. The only lights you see here are from the houses. There's no lighting from the street. After reviewing the footage from both cameras, I must say that the N4 is pretty good. Now, what did I like about the N2 Pro that beat the N4? Now, what I like about it was the audio. So you can see the audio test that I did. It compared one with the other, but at the end, this one sounded like too much bass, too like chunky, I don't know how would you say it. And this one had more highs, and I liked how it sounded better. So you could actually, the rest of the video, once I finished the comparison of the audio, I kept the N2 Pro audio. So I think it was better in that sense. Another thing that I liked about the N2 Pro is that it's all black matte. So it's matte and it's all black. I think this gray part from the N4, that gray part right here, it's kind of visible. I mean, it's not a big deal, but when I looked at it from the outside of the mirror, I just think it's a little bit more obvious with this one than the other one. Now, you might want obvious, so you might want it to be more visible, so that's okay, right? So those are the two things I liked about the N2 Pro. Now, speaking about the N4, I mean, the inside cabin view was really great. I think the white dynamic range that you can actually see from outside of the windows what's going on, it's a really great feature. Especially if you're using this camera for something like, I don't know, when a cop stops you, right? So when a cop stops you, at least you could see when he is coming. And I'm not just talking about the rear view camera. I'm talking from the inside of the cabin, you can actually see a person come to you. In this other one, in the N2 Pro, they're kind of like, most of the time, this is white out. You can't see anything, right? And also, when you zoomed into the license plates, you have more detail on the N4, and that's obvious for obvious reasons, right? It's a better camera. Something I noticed from the camera from inside the camera, the inside cabin that you could look, on the N4, it's a little bit more wider, so you can kind of capture more of what's going on in the both windows, so that's really good. In nighttime, at first, when I saw both cameras, I'm like, whoa, you could see a whole lot more on the N2 Pro, but it wasn't that. It was that the ISO is really raised on the N2 Pro, and basically it's really pixelated. I mean, you could see what's going on, but it's really pixelated. And in the N4, you can capture a whole lot. Now, you saw the comparison I showed you of the N4 with the exposure raised. Now, you can see there's a whole lot of information there. You can see way more on the N4 once you raise the exposure than the N2 Pro. So there's more information captured in the N4. So overall, I think it's way better LCD, better camera view, quality, just the audio is not that great as the N2 Pro. But besides all that, I think it's way worth the upgrade. So in this case, my recommendation is that you upgrade if you really need good footage. So for example, I use footage sometimes to make videos, right? So if someone stops me, like a cop, because I have another channel that's activism here in Mexico, so I need really good quality. So this works for me better, so I'm willing to upgrade. But maybe you just want to capture, you know what, just in case you have an accident and you want to capture what's going on, the N2 Pro is fine. You don't need to upgrade. So it just depends what you need it for. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys liked this video. It sure took me a whole lot of time to edit it. And if you guys are interested in buying the camera, the link will be in the description just in case you guys want to buy it. The link, it's an affiliate link. It won't cost you a single cent more if you buy from my link, but it just helps me out to grab cameras and make videos for you guys. Now, if you have a camera out there that you need a review, let me know. Thank you for watching. My name is George, and I'll see you guys later.